Yeah. Once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV. In the house like kitchen sinks. Now, before I get into today's story, if you will, understand that I'm the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better. Meaning that anytime I drop a story, it's guaranteed to be 30 minutes or better. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, you don't feel like being there, as we so often don't. You're on your way home from work, you need to laugh, you need to cry. Perhaps you're trying to lay down and take a nap, or you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time you're listening to or viewing this video. Or you're just in the mood for a good old-fashioned true, keyword being true, penitentiary / life story / life experience. This is the channel for you. If you like your 8, 12, 15-minute videos, absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But at Real Kens TV, it's 30 minutes or better. So with all that being said, guess what? There is a message. You know, oftentimes when you become entangled, if you will, with the criminal system, it's a very, very stressful time. It creates not only a tumultuous amount of stress upon yourself, but for your loved ones, your family, your kids, even your friends. See, oftentimes during my early incarceration years, I felt as though, why is everybody tripping? Why's everybody got a problem? After all, I'm the one doing the time. Immature thinking, selfish thinking, criminal behavior thinking. See, when in all actuality, as I've already mentioned, people are doing the time with you. People that genuinely love and care about you, they're doing the time with you. There's a quote, this is a saying actually, the only thing worse than death is the anticipation of death. Think about that. The only thing worse than death is the anticipation of death. I've often said that the closest thing to being unalived is being incarcerated. Think about it. When a person's unalive, what do you have? Pictures and memories. Oh, you remember that time we went here? Yeah, you remember that time we went there and you did this? And well, it's the same in the penitentiary in most cases. There's an individual that I knew, I want to say about 10 years ago. Dude's name was Cody, man. Good dude, white dude. He was just kind of like a country type of individual. Give you the shirt off his back, man. He was probably about, I'm trying to remember how tall Cody, because I'm 5'9", and he was a couple inches taller than me. So y'all get in the comments and tell me roughly how tall would you all guesstimate that Cody was. I'm 5'9", he's a couple inches taller than me, roughly. Had a big beard. Probably weighed about 220, 230. Wasn't sloppy, but he didn't work out anything. Kind of had a gut. Wore cowboy boots, jeans all the time. As I mentioned, man, just a good old country boy, but just a good dude. Cody never had a criminal record whatsoever. Besides a couple, traffic infractions here and there, Cody had never been in jail, never been arrested. Wouldn't harm a fly. Cody had a little situation that occurred at his apartment complex. Now, the reason that I even knew Cody is because we both worked at a furniture store. He was actually one of the managers, assistant managers at the furniture store. I worked at the furniture store that I would later get fired from because I lied on my application. Oftentimes when you have a felony, you're just not going to get the job. That's not to deter anybody. That's not to, certain places may give you an opportunity, but most places are not. I'm just keeping it real, man. Y'all rock with me, man. Let me know where y'all chiming in from. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. Let me know where you at, man. Shout out to all the truck drivers, man. The medical supply drivers, the Uber drivers, the DoorDashers, the people pulling them 16-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, 8-hour shifts, 4-hour shifts, and they say Real Kens. I say Real Kens. Your videos really, really, help me to get through my shift, man. All them truck drivers, man, that, you know, if it's not for them, the things that we order off of Amazon and things of that nature, we won't get them the next day or 2 days later. Truck drivers out there dropping them loads. Y'all truck drivers, man, y'all keep dropping them big loads off, man. Respectfully. But nevertheless, I'm working at this furniture store. Cody and I get cool. I'm probably there I'm there about 6 months. Cody calls me to the back. Hey, Kens, I need to talk to you, bro. Yeah, what's going on, man? I got some bad news for you, man. I got to let you go. You got to let me go? I mean, why? What did I do? I come to work all the time. I know, brother. I work extra hours. I pick up shifts. I'm making good money, but I'm working about 55, 60 hours a week. But it's keeping me out of the mix. It's keeping me out of the way. Keeping me out of the streets. Therefore, it's keeping me out of trouble. Corporate just called and you lied on your application, man. And that's immediate. That's the grounds for immediate termination. Nothing I could do. Nothing I could say. I think that it sucks. You're one of the best workers that I've ever worked with, brother. But I mean, it came from corporate, man. There's nothing that I can do. Grabbed my stuff, told everybody, you know, I'm out, and I left. Not to get too far off the subject, but see, when you lie on your application, I guess my frame of mind at that time was when I was truthful on all my applications, I couldn't get hired anywhere. So when they asked, have you ever been convicted of a felony? I put no. And I lasted 6 months, and ultimately it came back to bite me. But nevertheless, that's how Cody and I were actually introduced to each other. And we formed a friendship, you know, a work friendship. We didn't hang out or anything outside of work. But at work, we were, you know, pretty good friends. I want to say about 3 or 4 months later, I get a call. Who is this, man? It's Cody. Cody's calling me from a jail. Like, Cody? What is Cody doing in jail? Hello? You know, I accept the call, what have you. Out of all the people in the world, I never would have imagined in my wildest dreams that it would be Cody calling me from jail. Maybe he just got a DUI, not to devalue or dismiss the fact that, you know, people drink and drive, nothing of that magnitude. I'm just saying maybe it was something like that, or had I don't know, a ticket or something and he didn't pay it, or, you know, something relatively minor. Wasn't minor. Had Cody charged with attempted murder and assault in the first degree. Attempted murder and assault in the first degree? What is going on? Can only talk so much on a jail phone. Cody had called his wife and she went through his phone to get my number. So that's the reason that Cody had my number. Cody had a situation in which he lived in an apartment complex. Him and his wife. His neighbor, the guy that lived underneath him, I believe Cody was on the second floor, I believe is what he told me. And the individual lived on the bottom floor. They had assigned parking spaces. So if you live in apartment 5, you parking space number 5. You know, pretty self-explanatory. It seemed as though every time Cody would come in, he would have a hard time getting in and getting out of his vehicle. So I guess if he's coming in, he would have a hard time getting out of his vehicle. But if he was leaving, then he would have a hard time getting in his vehicle. Kind of had to loop that. Hopefully you get the gist of what I'm saying. Basically what I'm trying to say is his neighbor continuously parked so close to him to where Cody could barely open his door. He had talked to his neighbor about this several times. After all, you have a whole parking space. Now, understandably, his neighbor drove a big truck But at the same time, a parking space is a parking space. Why should I have to be delayed in leaving or going into my house after a long day's work or, whatever the case may be? Because you continuously park too close to me and I can't get in my vehicle or get out of my vehicle. Cody spoke to the neighbors several times about it. Every conversation that they ever had, it was a cordial conversation. This particular day, Cody had enough, man. He goes to leave and his truck is parked so close, he can't even, like I said, Cody's about, I don't know, he has to at least be 220, 225. It's not like he can squeeze in and slide in the door. No, he can't. He knocks on his neighbor's door. Just a regular knock. The neighbor's playing music so loud that he can't hear the door. The door knocks. So Cody knocks a little louder. He knows that he's in there. He still doesn't come to the door. He knocks a little louder. Neighbor comes to the door. Yeah, what's up, man? Man, I can barely hear you, man. I can barely hear you. Neighbor turns down the music. Hey, listen, man. You and I have had several conversations about this. Dude, I can't get in my car. Every time that I'm trying to leave, it could be an emergency or anything, and I have to come up here and knock on your door because you refuse to have any sort of understanding and respect of other individuals that have to park. I can't get in my car, dude. Cody said this individual had been drinking. Matter of fact, had a beer in his hand. One word led to the next. An argument ensued. They're arguing back and forth, but they're outside. Like Cody's never inside this individual's door walk. He's never entered inside this individual's, and I keep saying individual, his neighbor's actual apartment. He's outside in the hallway. In the words of Cody, man, the neighbor broke bad with him. Some bitch broke bad with me. Cody said the neighbor pushed him. So when he pushed him back. Two of them begin to wrestle. They're wrestling in the hallway or what have you. Now there's a rail, there's kind of like, it's not a rail, but it's a wall. Probably, I don't know, probably about 4 feet high. Now, if you go over that wall, you're going to fall to the next level, which is the bottom level. Cody was saying that the neighbor was trying to toss him over the wall. Like on wrestling. You know, I always make references to wrestling. When you throw somebody over the top rope. Essentially, he was trying to throw Cody over the top rope. But it was a wall. It would have been a nice little fall, unless Cody knew how to fly. And I doubt that. Cody's able to avoid being thrown over the wall. He gets the dude up off of him or whatever. Cody's packing. He's carrying. He's licensed. He has his thing right there on his hip. He pulls it out. Hey, man, I'm telling you, man, back up, man. I don't want no trouble. Back up. Leave me alone. I just need you to move your vehicle, man. Just stop. It doesn't need to go any further, man. Just stop. Just leave it alone. Then you gonna pull the fucking gun out on me? You gonna pull the fucking gun out on me, God by God? Listen, man, I don't want no trouble, man. I'm not pulling this. I'm using this for my protection. But I don't mean you no harm. Just please, I'm begging you. Please just move your vehicle, man. Cody said the situation had calmed down. He puts his gun back in his little holster or whatever on his hip. His neighbor said, all right, let me go get my keys. No problem, man. Cody goes downstairs. He's waiting by the vehicle. Probably about 5 minutes later, the neighbor comes downstairs. He's thinking that the neighbor's just simply going to move his truck, and it's just going to be, that's what it's going to be. The end of that. The neighbor gets close to him. He goes in his back pocket and he pulls out a hammer and he starts running towards, towards Cody. Cody goes in his hip, pulls that thing back out. I'm telling you to stop. Stop. The dude kept running towards him with the hammer. He fires on him. Boom, boom, boom. Fires on him. Hits him 3 times. Broad daylight. When he hits him 3 times, he doesn't know what to do. He panics. He leaves. He calls 911, but he doesn't remain at the scene. Hey, there's been a gentleman that's been shot. This is the address. He looks like he's in life. He leaves. He leaves the scene. Police come, ambulance come. They take the neighbor to the hospital. Luckily for him, he wasn't unalived. He was hurt pretty badly, but it wasn't life-threatening. I'm trying to watch my choice of words because YouTube they're very, very particular as far as the words that you use. Police is looking for Cody. They know that it's Cody because the individual, he tells them that it's Cody. And then you got neighbors, you got witnesses, Cody goes down and speaks with the detectives. It's not one of those things to where they had an immediate warrant out on him. But we all know once you go down and speak to the detectives, you're not talking your way out of an interrogation room. Well, in this particular case, Cody felt like, I don't have anything to hide. He tells the police the exact same thing that I just told you all. There's a couple holes in the story, according to the police. A couple problems. For one, you left the scene. If you really didn't do anything, why didn't you render aid to this individual and wait for us to arrive? Well, I called 911. I was afraid. I was scared, man. I called 911. Second problem that they had was when you went to his house, why did you have your, why were you packing? Why were you carrying when you went to his house? It seems as though you went to his house with the intentions of inflicting, some sort of harm to this individual. Cody told him, hey, listen, man, it's my right to carry. I have a license. It's my right to have this, on me at all times. To be honest, I didn't even think anything about me even having it. That's why when we initially started wrestling, I forgot that I even had it on me. I wasn't even thinking anything about it. One thing about detectives, man, they're always going to punch a hole in your story. You can be telling them the truth, nothing but the truth, but they're always going to figure out a way to criminalize it. That's why it's best to never, ever speak to the police. Attorney. Fifth, I plead the fifth. Nothing wrong with that. It's an amendment right. You don't have to speak to the police. I'm not telling you all to do that to be deceitful or anything like, but they're gonna twist your words. Always gonna twist your words. That's why they come in. Hey, how you doing? They introduce themselves. They extend their hands. I don't shake their hands. None of that stuff. What, man? Why am I here, man? Would you like a soda? Would you like anything out of the vending machine? They're trying to soften you up, if you will. Pause, double pause, triple pause. Matter of fact, infinite pause. I shouldn't even said that. Upon completion of the 4-hour interrogation, they decide to charge Cody. That's where the attempted murder, the assault charge, and there was another charge, but it was relatively minor in comparison to these charges. Like failing to render aid or something like that, which carries 1 to 5. But the attempted murder and the assault, he's facing a life sentence at 85%. At 85%, it's called the truthful sentencing in Kentucky, meaning that if you have a charge that's not violent, you do 20% of your time, and then you're eligible for parole. So on a 10-year sentence, you do 2 years, you're eligible for parole. Doesn't guarantee that you'll get it, but you have an opportunity. But if you're sentenced under the Truthful Sentencing 85% Act, you're going to do 85% of your time before you remotely even have a chance of going up for parole, man. Y'all rock with me. Ain't in no rush. Cody goes to jail. He's calling me. He's explaining, what happened, all the things that he can't explain over the jail phone. His bond is like $50,000, full cash. No 10%. Judge won't lower his bond down. See, a lot of other states, if your bond is $50,000, then it means it's automatic 10%, $5,000. No. Whatever your bond is here is what your bond is. And I've said that in several different videos, but for the people that have never watched any of my videos, now you know. Can't run over to the bail bonds. I mean, there is no bail bonds. There's nothing. You don't got no bread, you don't got no bread. Even on a property bond, a judge has to assign it a property bond. So if he has some property, which he didn't, but let's just say he did, you got $100,000 property to cover this $50,000 cash bond. See what I'm saying? Whatever the cash bond is, the property is going to be double. If his cash bond was $100,000, then that means you would have to have $200,000 in property. But see, that has to be assigned by a judge. It isn't automatic. Every time he's going back and forth to court, his lawyer rather, is asking the judge for a bond reduction. They won't reduce his bond. He sits in the county jail for about 6 months. And the judge finally gives him a break. He lets him go home, but he's on the ankle monitor. Strict conditions. You can't go anywhere. You can go to work, and pretty much that's it. Work and come home. Got to take drug tests, alcohol tests, all these things. If you fail one test, back to the county jail you go. Being that Cody was allowed to come home, now he could work towards, because I believe he came home still on like a $5,000 bond. And what it ended up happening was income tax time came around, and between the taxes that he got back and his wife, they had enough money to get him out the $5,000. Now he could start to work towards, okay, I can save up my money and get me an actual attorney. They have what's called I want to say it's called a bond assignment. Pretty sure it's called a bond assignment. If you can find the right attorney, you can sign your bond over to the attorney. Now, the attorney doesn't get that money until the case is over with. Some lawyers won't do a bond assignment. Most will. It's kind of like financing a case. He finds an attorney and he tells him, he say, listen, man, it's a very, very serious case. I need $10,000 just to get you a plea deal or try to get it dismissed. I'll do the bond assignment for $5,000. But until then, they worked out a number. You're going to have to pay me, X amount of dollars per week to get the other $5,000 paid off. It's $10,000. Cody's wife is helping, so they're paying the attorney, $300-400 every week, trying to get that, get that amount paid off rather. But understand this: if it ends up going to trial, I need another $10,000. This is only to get this case dismissed or work out a plea deal for you. Commonwealth State of Kentucky. Very, very difficult to get a case dismissed. A judge can know that the police illegally did something to you, pulled you over, unlawfully searched you, and they'll act as though they're chastising the police, but still won't throw it out. I'm going to let this stand this one time, but you all better get your act together, because the next time you come in my courtroom, and if you don't have your act together, then this whole case is getting thrown out. Yeah, right. You tell a lie, I tell a lie. All they checks come from the same place. Police, detectives, which is the police, prosecution, judges, all their checks come from the same place. They all work in cahoots. Don't ever let nobody tell you that they don't. And if you're a police or a detective or I don't know why I keep saying a police or a detective because it's the same thing, or you're a prosecutor or you're a judge and you happen to watch my channel from time to time, you all can never truthfully say that you all don't work as one unit. Every once in a while, you might run across a fair judge, a cool judge that's really, really fair and abides by the law. But 9.99999 times out of 10, they're going to go by what the police and the prosecution says. That's why you have so many innocent people that end up doing 30 and 40 years in prison, and then they let them out and make them sign, essentially sign contracts, basically saying, you can't sue us. See, it's all about advancing their career. They don't care if you're innocent. They don't want to look like the fool. So once they charge you and they can't come back and say, oh man, my bad, we wrongfully charged this guy. No. They got to stand on it. The entire time they're offering, I believe the first offer was 15 years, in which Cody would have to do 85% of that. What's that, about 13 years? Roughly 13 years, 12 years, 9 months. Looking at a guy that's never done any time other than the 6 months that he was forced to sit in the county jail before the judge blessed him with a bond. The ankle monitor. 15 years. Cases like this, serious cases, it takes a while. Case went on. They're paying their attorney, but that's difficult to pay somebody $300-400 every week, even if it is two people. You still have rent. In their case, rent. Some people's case is mortgage. You got car payments. You got just your regular, average, everyday bills, kids. And I'm having to pay $400 a week. But that's what they agreed to. Several months pass. And there's only so many times that the judge is going to allow, different court dates, continuances. Okay, we need to wrap this thing up. What we going to do? We're going to go to trial. You're going to take a plea deal. It's going to be one of the two. We need a trial date, or we're going to work out a plea deal. Prosecution would not come off at 15 years for nothing. They ended up coming down to 10 years. They came down to 10 years. And they told Cody, they say, listen, man, if you don't take this 10 years, this is the last offer. We're going to go to trial, and we're going to max you out if we convict you. We're going to give you 40 at trial. Think about that, 40 years. Just a regular 40 years, and you have to do 8 years? On a non-violent charge, you're going to do 8 years on a 40-year sentence? So you can imagine on a violent charge in which you have to do 85% of your time, you're going to do 20 years. Because in the state of Kentucky, the most time that you can do is 20 years before you go up for parole, unless you have life without. So even if you got 50 years, you do 20 years, and you still go up for parole, even though 20 years is not technically 85% of 50 years. Catch what I'm trying to say? Cody calls me up again. He's telling me the scenario, the situation. I say, listen, Cody, I'm not an attorney. But one thing for certain and two things for sure. A lot of times former inmates, we know more about cases than an attorney will know. I don't know about that, kids. They go to law school, man. They give that stuff to their paralegals and legal aids, and they do all the cases and find all the information. I'm not saying that attorneys are not good to have. I'm not saying that. But you need an attorney that has a name that's tough, that's going to go in there, that has a history of going to trial, not only going to trial, but beating them. You just got a cop-out attorney, which means basically an attorney that's looking to cop a plea deal. This dude ain't been to trial, man. I looked him up. This dude ain't been to trial in 17 years. Man. He's looking to take your 10 grand and run with it. But that's all he could afford. See, some people can't even afford that. They have to go with the public defender. And you really, really, really in trouble when you go with a public defender. In most scenarios. In my opinion, Cody, man, I wouldn't take that deal, man. I'm not taking no 10 years at 85%. But brother, what would you... Man, I really wouldn't take nothing. Take it to the box. This dude came charging at you with a hammer. But the prosecution was going to argue, okay, but you didn't just shoot him once. You didn't just shoot him twice, you shot him 3 times. What's the difference when the police shoot us? See, when you go and you take training, when you go and you take classes as far as like firearms and defending yourself, they teach you to shoot to unalive the individual. It may sound harsh, but they do. And that's how the police get away with shooting a person 87 times. Because this individual was running at him with a little box knife. It was nowhere near him. I feared for my life, so I shot him 87 times. Went through your Rambo. Fear for your life. It's like the officer that feared for his life, Sandra Massey. They had the boiling hot water and it was remotely nowhere near the police officer. They instructed her to go over and turn off the stove in which the water was boiling prior to them even arriving. He feared for his life, so, you know, he unalived her. It's just a whole different scenario when it comes to them and us. Dude is charging at you with a hammer, man. I would go to the box with that. I wouldn't take nothing. There's only one problem. I don't got another $10,000 to pay this attorney to go to the box. It's a big problem. Judge is not going to extend the court dates out any longer so that you can continue to pay the lawyer $400 or $500 a week. It's going to take a long time to get to 10 grand. Paying them that way. You don't have anything else to sell. You don't have any stocks, bonds, 401k, mutual funds, money market accounts. You don't have anything. Your credit is not great. You can't do any cash advances. You're all out. You tapped out. Family that has money, friends that you can borrow from. So knowing that you want to go to trial, you can't go to trial because I can't afford to go to trial. I'm assed out. I don't got no money. No ends. I say, well, listen, man. This is what I would recommend. This is what I would do in your situation. Because, again, you definitely can't go to trial with a legal aid public defender. Public pretender. Shout out to my public defenders, to all the public defenders, because some of them get in there and they want to have their own firm. So they go in there and they really, really work hard for the inmates. Go to trial, and next thing you know, they win a couple trials. They've established a reputation, start their own firm. But a lot of them public defenders, they just remain public defenders, or they go and become prosecutors. I said, this is what I recommend you do, man. I done been through this system a few times, man. Act as though you're going to go to trial. Act as though you're going to go to trial. I don't care what they say. I don't care if they say this is the last offer, we'll never offer you anything again. Man, you can tell me the sky is blue. Well, actually, the sky is blue. So let's rewind. Man, you rewind. You can tell me the sky is purple. Does that really mean the sky is purple? You can piss on me and tell me it's water. Does that mean that it's water? Does that mean that it's rain? A pair of lips will say anything is basically what I'm trying to get across. Act as though you're going to go to trial. And maybe the day before trial, or even on the day of trial, they're going to come at you with another offer. Maybe that 10-year offer will go down to just a regular 10-year offer in which you do 20% of your time. Maybe they'll offer you a 5-year, 7-year sentence under extreme emotional duress. Dude was coming at me with a weapon. I didn't know what to do, man. I panicked. And I called the police, the ambulance, and told them, that this individual needed immediate assistance. He goes back and he tells his attorney. Another problem. The attorney's not down with it. The attorney says, no, because as your legal representation, if you tell me that you want to go to trial, then I have to start preparing for trial. So if I'm going to start preparing for trial, I need my 10 bands, my 10,000. Yeah, but I'm not going to go to trial. I just want to make them think. And yeah, but there's more court appearances that I have to. And what if you change your mind? I'm not going to be in the courtroom looking unprepared. The attorney wasn't with it. Ken's, the attorney's not with it. Everything I just told you all. Well, I'll tell you what, man. He's going to dismiss it, relieve himself from the case anyway. Let him go and get you a legal aid, man. Get you a legal aid that'll buy you some more time. And if you do that, typically an offer doesn't go up. Every once in a while it'll happen, but it's a 10-year offer right now. You get your legal aid, maybe that offer will eventually go down, and it'll buy you another 6-7 months because the legal aid has to have time to prepare for the case. They go back to court. I guess the lawyer tells him that this is the best that I can get you. Now, mind you, he's gotten his $5,000, the second $5,000, but the first $5,000 from the bond assignment, he's been waiting at this point for like a year. He started working on this case, really hadn't done anything. You're going to be in court anyway. He started working on this case, so he convinces Cody to go ahead and take the plea deal. Cody takes the plea deal, signs for 10 years, 85%. Has to do 8 years and 6 months before he goes up for parole. Cody's been out a good year. Even though he's on ankle monitor, that goes towards his sentence. Time credited. So he's looking at 7.5 years. Individual that was just defending himself. I'm going to always reiterate the fact that he's never been in trouble before. Didn't even have a case jacket. They give him 4 months. That's rare, because typically in Lexington anyway, they're going to give you a month. And they may arrest you when you take the plea deal. Typically they don't. For me, I kept getting arrested. I don't know why. Probably because I kept having the same judge. Typically, they're going to give you a month, get your affairs in order. You come back, final sentencing, you'll be taken into custody. They was going to drop the attempted murder charge. They was going to drop the assault charge, and he was going to plead guilty to one account. Well, actually, he pled guilty to one count of wanton endangerment, which means wanton endangerment means if I fire a firearm, there's other individuals around. Anybody could have been the recipient of that bullet. So it's wanton endangerment. One count of wanton endangerment. 10 years. Like I said, typically they give you a month. You come back. Then you're taken into custody. There is no chance of probation on a charge like that. It's non-probatable. His lawyer did get him 4 months. You got 4 months. Come in, turn yourself in. And I'm not going to see the streets for another 7.5 years. He don't know how to tell his kids. His wife, she says she's going to wait. But they hadn't really been married that long, 4 or 5 years. I'm not saying that she wouldn't have waited. I don't know, but remember when I said earlier that the only thing worse than death is the anticipation? Well, the only thing worse than doing time is the anticipation of knowing that you're going to go to that courtroom that day and you're not walking out that day. You're just not. Your people around you, we're going to pray for a miracle and this, anything can happen. Man, you ain't faced Johnny Law. Anything's not going to happen. Even if a judge wanted to probate it, he couldn't. It's non-probatable what he pled guilty to. When he walks in that courtroom that day, you're not coming home for an additional, or for at least 7.5 years. At least. Because there's no guarantee you're going to get parole. Time was coming closer and closer. Now it's 3 months. Still working, you're saving your money. I'm telling him, look, man, save your money up. Have plenty of money on the phone. This is what you wear into the facility when you go. They're going to send you behind the wall with the lions, tigers, goons, gorillas, and bears. This is where you're going to go. Go ahead and start working out now. Just getting your body in shape as far as, exercise and pull-ups and push-ups and, crunches and, not necessarily crunches because he had like a little belly, but start walking, then eventually turn it into running. Just get yourself physically and mentally. It's kind of hard to get yourself mentally prepared to go to prison if you've never been before. But I'm just telling him everything that he's going to need. When you get there, you're going to want to buy yourself, some sweatsuits, because you can have like gray sweatsuits. You can buy your own shoes, buy yourself a TV, MP3 players. Well, at the time it wasn't MP3 players. It was radio, CD players. These are the things that's going to help you to get through. You're going to buy yourself a cooler so when you go to commissary, you put your food, your food that requires like your burgers and your chicken patties and things of that nature, your hot dogs, and put those in your cooler on ice. All of these things cost money. So save your money up, stack your money as much as you can possibly stack it, because you're going to need it when you go inside. Now it's 1 month. The nervousness is really, really setting in. Now it's 2 weeks. Now it's a week. Now it's 2 or 3 days. Now the day that you're supposed to go to court at 1 o'clock. Your last day on the streets. Your last moments on the streets. For 7.5 years. Cody had a change of heart. Didn't go to court. Cody didn't go to court. Catch me when you catch me, man. See, when you do things like that, it's not like TV. Shawshank Redemption is one of my favorite movies. Andy but you're not gonna escape the way that Andy did and go off to an island and build your own boat and just be self-sufficient and you got money buried. That's TV. It's La La Land. Out here in the real world, when you're on the run, it's very, very, very stressful. And you better have a lot of money to do so and know a lot of people. Cody goes on a run, man. I ain't going back to court. So now, in addition to the 10 years that he pled guilty to, the judge has the option of taking that plea deal back. In addition, they're going to hit you with bail jumping. Now that you've already pled guilty to one felony, guess what? You're a persistent felony offender. So it qualifies you for a sentence enhancement. So you can get another 10 years on top of the time that you already had for bail jumping. Bail jumping just means you don't come back to court. He goes on a run for a long time. A long time. I'm talking a good 5 years. Well, during the time that he's out on the run, things become disingenuous. Things begin to sour in his marriage. Wifey's tired of being out on the run. I want to live a regular, normal life. I've been rocking with you. I told you don't go on the run in the first place. It's been 5 years. You could have almost had your sentence, completed. Sure, you still would have had another 2.5 years, but still. 2.5 years is 2.5 years. You would have worked your custody level down. You've been at a camp. I would have been able to visit you more because it would have been closer. But you didn't want to face the music. Wifey couldn't take it no more. She left. She left him, man. Now, this information is at this point, because I'm not speaking with Cody. But Cody is from here. A couple family members that I know, and so they gave me the 411 on, everything as far as that I'm speaking of, as far as in the latter stages when he was on the run. Wifey leaves him, takes the kids. Understandably. What, you gonna keep the kids when you're on the run? About 9 months later, they zero in on Cody. Just like the movies. He's at a hotel. He's at a motel. Just like the movies. They know where he's at. They got the perimeter surrounded. They got the helicopters. They got the police outside. He's in the room. They bring in a negotiator, just like on TV. Trying to get Cody out that room. Cody ain't trying to come out the room, man. Either you gonna come out, Cody, or we coming in. What do you need, Cody? I'm Lieutenant Frank, such and such. I'll be heading this investigation. You know how it is on the movies. Frank done had to come in because the locals, they couldn't get it done. This is my investigation. You hear me? You are no longer in charge. From now on, you will follow my command. I shouldn't be. I'm not laughing, actually, because it's not a laughing matter. But you know how it is on TV. Helicopters flying around. Spectators, they behind the little, the ropes or the yellow tape that they got, News is the news anchors is there. Yeah, I'm reporting from 27 WKYT TV. We seem to have an assailant that's been on the run in it. That part. I'm exaggerating vastly. Greatly. But y'all get my point. Cody wasn't coming out of that room. Cody knew he was facing a boatload of time. He knew it was only a matter of time before they came in and got him. Lasted for several hours. Cody ended up taking himself out, man. Once he knew that they were really, really coming in, which he essentially knew anyway. But I guess once reality really, really just sunk in and Cody took himself out, man. Unalived himself, man. Right there in a motel room, local motel room. Man. I'm guessing that Cody felt as though I'm gonna go to prison for the next 7.5 years, longer than that now, because I didn't come back to court. Go to prison for the next 10, 11 years. No wife. Kids is with the wife. I can't go out like that, man. A lot of people, you hear them say that before I go back to prison, man, I'll take myself out or I'm going to shoot it out with the police. A lot of people say that. A lot of people don't necessarily do that, but that's your frame of mind at some point, at certain points rather, because that's just how bad prison is, man. Sometimes you'd rather just not be here than go back to prison. I've been there. Thought about it. Almost did it. Hindsight's 20/20. You look back at this point, if Cody had just went back, he would be literally out of prison. It was 10 years ago. He would literally have went and done his 7.5 years and been back home with his family, man. His wife, she was going to wait. She was a ride or die. Do you want to ride or die? La na 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 na. Come with me. Hail Mary. His wife was going to ride, man. Think about Cody from time to time, man. I think it's a classic case of just being railroaded by the system. Cody had to have $40,000-$50,000 to give to an attorney. I don't believe that case ever would have gone to trial. Although it didn't go to trial. So basically let me clean it up. What I mean is, if he had the proper attorney that could counsel, that could go in and, spit like a Uzi, yeah, boom, 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 according to this case law, that case law, you all can't do this because this, that, and this. Prosecution wouldn't have wanted to go to trial. So they would have offered him something, time served. They're going to get a conviction. They're not going to just throw it out. But it would have been something that Cody could have dealt with. 2 or 3 year sentence. Okay, been locked up for a year. Do another, 9 months, and then boom, I'm back home. Worst case scenario. See, this world that we live in, it's all about money. If you want to break it all the way down to the insurance, man, and I'm going to tell you all this. I got a good friend of mine. His father's worked all his life. He's in his 80s. Having trouble with his legs now. Can barely walk. He was in a nursing home. They allowed him to stay in the nursing home. As soon as that insurance ran out, he was only allotted a certain amount. As soon as that money ran out, guess what? You got to go, sir. Kicked him out. He goes home. He can't make it around the house because he can't move. They send him back to the hospital. See, that's the type of world that we live in. If it's all about money. And if you don't got no money, they don't care nothing about you. So rather it's insurance, rather it's in the system, the criminal system. That's what it boils down to. How deep are your pockets, man? And it's a shame. It's a shame because there are so many individuals in prison right now. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everybody in prison is an angel. I'm definitely not saying that. Some people that are in prison deserve to be in prison. Some people that are in prison, such as myself, I deserve to be in prison. I did break the law. But did I deserve to get 13 years for some white-collar crimes? You look at these shows such as American Greed and shows like that, and these guys are taking elderly people's last 20 and 30 and 40 million dollar Ponzi schemes, and to get 7-8 years in the feds. I didn't do nothing but get a few $100,000. And y'all hit me with the state RICO? A state RICO? Organized crime? Engaging in a continual organized criminal enterprise? For some white collar crime, checks and credit cards and counterfeiting money? That's the world we live in. So I would just advise you to just don't break the law. I know oftentimes when you have that gun, you got that liquid courage. Liquid courage means like when you're in the club and you're drinking that alcohol, or you don't necessarily have to be in the club, but that alcohol makes you brave. Makes you brave. Things that you typically wouldn't do, but because you've been drinking, now you got courage. And you got that gun. See, a gun is not good for everybody. Because you have to be disciplined. You have to know that, okay, it has to be a last resort type of situation. And in Cody's situation, I do believe that it was the last resort. Because if I'm in the same scenario and somebody's coming at me and they got a hammer and they run it, I'm going to do the same thing. Praying for Cody's family. Think about him from time to time. Like I said, we never hung out outside of work. Cody was a cool dude, man. I definitely don't believe that he deserved that. But there's a lot of Codys out here. If you don't have no money, you're going to prison, man. If you find yourself in a situation where you're up against the law, Johnny Law. I really don't like lawyers, to be honest. Because all they do is, I understand you go to law school and you know, I understand that you have your fees, but oftentimes they overcharge you. They make it sound good in the beginning, then you pay them. And I didn't make you any promises, and lawyers are necessary, but the amount of money that they charge is just, it's ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous, the amount of money that they charge. So you're going to charge me $2,000 to show up at my arraignment when you're already going to be in court anyway? You're going to talk to that judge on my behalf, literally at an arraignment. An arraignment is your initial appearance before the judge when you first charge. You're going to charge me $2,000, $2,500, and you're going to talk to that judge for 2 minutes? 2 minutes, and you're already going to be in court anyway, dealing with other cases? But hey, if you hang around the barbershop long enough, guess what's going to ultimately happen? You're going to get a haircut. So when you're dealing with these situations, when you're dealing with breaking the law and doing things that you have no business doing, you got to pay the Pied Piper. R.I.P. Cody, man. Praying for your family once again, man. Hopefully you all understand this and fully get the gist of what I'm saying, man. Stay out of that system by any means. Man, I know people will make you mad. I understand that people cut you off in traffic and flip you off. Motherfucker, you know. And I understand that. I just assume that any and everybody is carrying. But they don't give you a right to just go around just popping people, man. See, the prosecution, once again, it's all about advancing their careers. It's all about convictions for them. They're not looking to see if you were justified in doing what you did. They're looking to find out, can we charge this guy? I tell my daughter that all the time. Because she carries. Make that your only option before you use that. Because these people, they're going to get you. Especially if you look like me, man. Just what it is. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Be sure to hit that post notification. Anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Notifications is not going out. It's been brought to my attention. People are not being notified as far as when my videos are dropping. No worries. Fret not. Simply check my channel every single day. I'm about to turn up. I'm about to start dropping a couple videos. Every video I drop may not be 30 minutes or better. My story time is always going to be 30 minutes or better. But I may start to drop additional videos throughout the day. Just check the channel every single day. Or anytime you want to hear a real live story. Man. Still thinking about old Cody, man. But nevertheless, like I was saying, check the channel and like, comment, subscribe, share. I can't reiterate that enough because that's how smaller channels such as myself become larger channels. Like the other individual channels that have 100, 200, 300,000. I understand that it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. But it's all about the engagement. So when you all like, when you comment, but definitely share. Sharing is what really gets the your YouTube videos out to the masses. Just imagine if everybody just shares a video, shares the message. If you agree with this message, share the message. Gets me in front of larger crowds. 20, 30,000 people see the video. Okay, this amount of people engaged. Okay, we're going to put it in front of another 30,000. Okay, this amount of people engaged. Now we're going to put it in front of 100,000. Oh, this amount of people engaged. I tell you what, put my videos in front of 1 million people and see what my numbers do. But I haven't gotten there yet. But I understand, man, it's stairs. It's not an elevator. as my dog JV TV. JV TV. Y'all go check out JV TV, man. Got a family channel. Very, very good family channel that he has going on over there. Go check him out, man. As he always tells me, slow and steady, man. You know, wins the race. Turtle don't always lose the race. My time's coming. I just have to be patient. But I need you all to help me to get this message out. This message out to more people. I don't get on here and make up stories. I don't get on here and just make up stories and say this happened to me and I was doing this in prison and that happened. It's only so many prison stories that you can really tell. I'm going to just call it all the way. I'm going to call a spade a spade. I've done over 11 years in the Kentucky Department of Corrections. It's only so many stories that you're going to be able to truthfully tell. There's only so many things that you're going to see. Not hating on anybody or anything of that magnitude. I'm just keeping it real with you, man. You want to hear reality or a true story? Real Kens TV.